And yeah, so yeah, I mean, pretty much if you go into do any, sell my house fast in any city, it's usually a Carrot website that's ranking organically. So
Mhm.
to me, the proof's in the pudding, and anybody go out and try and do a search, you're pretty much going to find Carrot websites because it works.
Yep. And a
So
lot of these guys came from custom sites. So that's the thing. A lot of people go, man, I can go figure it out with my cousin Eddie, who makes WordPress sites or whatever. And like Tom was custom site, $10,000 custom site, came over to Carrot, performed better. Or Florida house buyers, custom site. Carrot went to custom site thinking they could look different, came back to Carrot 2 years later through our concierge program. It's just, we focus on performance, so you guys can just be the investors or the agents.
There's a couple different websites you can have. If you're an agent, you can have an agent website. So there's a lot of agents have websites, and obviously if you're an agent, you can take the same concepts we're talking about. It's all the same concepts. Like if you're a real estate agent that, let's say, focuses on short-term rental properties, right? You can keyword and make your website authority in the short-term rental space. I mean, there's just like anything. Can you kind of like break down what kind of, there's people buying land that are land buyers. What are the things you're seeing now with not just the motivated seller websites?
Yeah, the land thing has been growing and getting a lot bigger the last, let's say, 3 to 4 years, because especially as houses are getting, like, your residential housing is getting a lot more expensive, and the market's very, very competitive on the residential housing side of things. There's more agents in the market than ever. There's more investors and wholesalers and flippers in the market than ever. And there's still lots of deals. But a lot of people are finding that land, or any niche, mobile homes, because there's a lot of investors, Bo, who don't touch mobile homes for some reason. But some of our most successful clients are really doubling down on mobile homes, and they're profiting really good because the mobile home market in general is really going up because people can't find a stick-built normal home right now because of demand. And so the mobile home market's going up. And so we have a lot of people launching a mobile home lead generation website with us. The land side of it, like if you're to literally search the phrase "sell my land" or something like that, you're probably going to find, number 1, number 2 ranking in Google nationally as a Carrot site. And land is really attractive right now because of that demand of housing. And so people are trying to buy more land. And here's the other dynamic with land is you see all the instability that's kind of going on around the world economically here, then the war over in Eastern Europe. And there's a massive amount of people in the world who are either preppers, or they just want to have a piece of property out there in the middle of nowhere in case everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And so there's a lot of these very remote properties in the middle of nowhere that people have owned for 10, 15, 20 years. They never ended up doing anything with it, and they're just paying the taxes on it. And a lot of our clients are using direct mail, or sometimes SEO or PPC too, to then go find those land sellers. And they're flipping lots of land right now, lots of land. And so land's amazing right now. Couple. Oh, you're good, man.
What about guys like the Pace Morbies of the world that are doing sub-2 investing?
Yep.
What would be a suggestion for like the creative finance guys to create a website, a Carrot website? What are some strategies there?
Yeah, the things that are working best, like Pace as an example, has been a Carrot customer for years and years, and they'll get seller leads from Carrot that are just on a website, just like I showed you there, right? You're on the website, you're speaking to the prospect about the problem that they have. Now, the way that you solve their problem might be to acquire it as a wholesaler. It could be creative finance, could be subject to, but the words on the website themselves is all pretty much the same. It's, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you need to sell your house fast at Phoenix, Arizona, we can help you. We can buy it with no fees, as is, any condition, the whole thing. And then you ask them to submit their information, and we test the heck out of our websites to make sure they're always converting higher than other systems out there to keep you guys ahead. Because if you lose one deal, if your average profit per deal, let's say, is 25 grand, and you lose one deal from underperformance on a homemade site or a Wix site, or a custom pretty looking website that was built for prettiness but not for performance, you just lost 25 grand because of underperformance. And so, yeah, it's just a normal motivated house seller website. And then once they get the lead, they build that relationship with that seller and determine how they can best serve them, either listed on the market with the agent, or buy at sub 2 or some sort of creative finance, or make the cash offer, quick close at the discount.
Okay, here's a question for you. Let's just
Yep.
say somebody's watching this right now and they say, wow, this makes sense to me. What is the fastest way? What would be your kind of recipe to kind of rank the quickest? I mean, obviously
Yep.
they come in as a customer Carrot, they go through initial training. What should they be doing in conjunction with, following the recipe? Should they doing YouTube and then embedding those into pages on Carrot? What seems to be the best? Like if you had to focus on one niche, where would it be?
Yep. Dude, I'll show you guys right now. So this is what I would do. I'm going to do a quick little screen share, and I'm going to show you guys the methods that would be, anybody can do it. You guys don't have to be crazy techie. And so the first thing is, number one, kind of like write down your market, right? Where are you buying properties? Okay. And this example here that I'm showing on the screen is Tacoma, Washington, but they're all over the state of Washington. And he buys about 8 to 10 houses every single month, 100% from Evergreen marketing, 100%. So guy makes really good money, 10 hours a week, because he doesn't have to sift through a ton of crappy leads. He works 10 hours a week, 8 to 10 deals a month, and it's all from SEO. And so the first thing I would do, and the first thing that he did, is it took him about 2 years to get there, right? So it wasn't right out of the gates in a quarter or 6 months. There's something that I call the 261 formula. And I borrowed that from a client of ours, Tyler Ford, down in Tucson, Arizona, who does about 3 to 5 deals a month, 100% from SEO as an investor agent hybrid. Okay. And the 261 formula is this, is you're going to work really, really, really hard that first 2 months. Okay. Get your website set up and turn it into what we call this authority hub, right? Get our company page built out. So there's really good credibility on there. So people can, when they land here and they're vetting you versus the other 2, 3, 4, 5 investors or agents, they're saying, man, do I want to work with this person? Right? That's the most important thing. You always have to start with the credibility and proof first before you go out there and start to build traffic to it. So build out our company page, build out a reviews page like this one here. And Keith uses videos. I would suggest you use videos, but that's your guys' call. It's because you can see the realism. You can see Keith. He's a good dude. Keith just does not, he looks like a good dude. His company name's Kind House Buyers, right? So like build out the credibility first. And we can talk about how to do that if you're a newer investor or agent. And then the next thing to do once you're on there is, if you're a Carrot customer, when you click up, some buttons and launch a motivated house seller website, we're going to launch it with all the content in the high converting framework on there by default. But we really suggest that you go through and rewrite, 30 to 60% of your content, just kind of using our framework and say, how do I rewrite, this paragraph in my own words, as an example. Or you can pay, someone to do it for you, or our marketplace can do it for you, whatever. So rewrite that content in your own words. So it's unique to you, unique to your area, but follow our structure. Now, the next thing that I would do that kind of starts to create it into that hub that we call, is write down maybe your top 5 to 10 markets that you are wanting to buy properties in. Okay. Let's say that you're in Tacoma, but what other markets would you buy properties in? Well, you might buy properties all over Washington. Okay. And so if you would buy properties in all of Washington, write down Washington. That's your broad market. What's your broadest version of your market? Is it just your state? Is it the region? Is it the country? Okay. Start there. And then ask yourself, well, what cities would I also buy properties in Washington? And so Keith buys in a lot of Washington, Yakima, Vancouver, like I'm showing here on the screen, Spokane, Tacoma, South Hill. He really wrote down all these areas that he would buy a house in. Okay, then pick your top 5 to 10, like I said. And then you're going to launch what we call a location page. And a location page is just simply like, if you were to go to Google and everyone sees that Zillow, if you're going to type a phrase like, homes for sale, whatever city. So you're in Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. So homes for sale in Las Vegas. If I were a betting man, I'm going to bet that Zillow is probably going to be number 1 or number 2 in Google for that phrase, because they dominate the city searches for buyers. But you can also see on here on my screen, it shows a bunch of suggested searches, meaning this is what people are actually typing into Google every month. Like enough people are typing these into Google every month that Google says, hey, you're typing this, you might mean this. And these are good potential pieces of content to do. And so as I'm doing this research, I'm typing in these phrases into Google that my prospect might search. just start to write down or copy and paste some of these other ones if they're in your niches. Like, oh shoot, homes for sale in Las Vegas with a swimming pool. Awesome. I might need to create a page literally called homes for sale in Las Vegas with the swimming pool, and then create some content on it, put a video on it. If you're an agent, put your IDX on there with just homes for sale in Vegas with a swimming pool, or homes for sale in Las Vegas under $200,000 or near the strip. So the reason I'm going to pull this up, I'm going to show you guys this. Is so the number one result is Zillow, like I was going to say, and realtor.com. Now, here's why this is important for you as an investor or an agent, is you can notice that it's not, and it's almost never, or I can say it is never, Zillow's homepage that ranks in Google for a city search. It's never their homepage. It's always what we call a location page. And so you can see here, it's zillow.com/Las-Vegas-NV.com. And then on here, it's just Las Vegas properties. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom here, Google has a bunch of other pages on here that are niched down to Las Vegas property searches, right? And so years and years ago, we pioneered this in the real estate investor industry. And we modeled companies like Zillow. We modeled companies like LoopNet. And we said, like, how do we just help that client dominate Google for all the niche phrases that their client might search in Google? And we reverse engineered it and made it easy for clients like you to do the same thing. So I would figure out what's your primary market, right? If it's Vegas, are you only in Vegas, or are you in other cities too? Write down those cities that you would buy houses in, or you're an agent in, or whatever. Okay, write them down. Then you go create a page specific for those areas, just like Zillow does. Zillow has a page literally called homes for sale for under $10,000 in Vegas, which there's one. It looks like there's one, or there's three maybe. And then you go on your website like Tom's got here, and you build those pages. And I'll show you an example of what one might look like. Tom invests in Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. He has a Carrot page for each one of these. And you can see when I land here, it's now messaged to the Massachusetts market. You know, it's need to sell your house in Massachusetts. Awesome. And uses our framework and our process to make sure that the Massachusetts messaging is on here. And then that gives you a chance to rank well in those markets as well. So there's two steps I walk through. Step one is go through and get your website up and turn it into an authority hub by getting your credibility, a good about page, good reviews up there. It should load well on mobile. Number two, to further build that website from just a website into an authority hub, is start to create those location pages for the areas that you would buy houses in or sell houses in, depending on your business. And you get the search phrases that you're going to rank for literally from Google. You just go to Google and type up what a prospect might type. And then, like I said, look in Google to sell my house fast Boston, scroll all the way to the bottom of Google, and Google has these related searches. Like, these are potential pages and names of pages I should create. Create 5 to 10 that first quarter. Okay. Now number three, Bo, this is where that real authority is built. Now what we need to do after we have our core conversion pages going with that credibility, which is going to help you convert all of your marketing to close leads better, because that has better credibility. And we've started to cast a wider net with your location pages, and add location pages as your business expands. And now we're going to say, okay, now we want to post consistent authority building content that is my content out there to the market to show my expertise and to educate. And I'll give you an example of that. So here locally, there's a real estate agent who did not want to sit down and write content. Like Google can only rank things in Google based off of words on a page, right? They currently, if you were just to put a YouTube video on a page, even if it was 15 minutes long, and I'm just going to make it up, let's say there's 20,000 words in that video, Google is not going to take those 20,000 words and extrapolate that as content on your page. So we have to put words on the page. And in order to get them to rank well, we've got to have at least 500 words minimum on a page, minimum in this market. I'd suggest to shoot for 800 to 1,000 words on a page. Okay. And so for me and for this real estate agent, I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and write 1,000-word articles every week or every month. Right. But what I can do is I kind of like whipping out my phone, and I could do a 5-minute video. You know, I'm out at a house, I'm out at a property. I could take out my phone and say, hey, this is Trevor with ABC Property Buyers. I'm here at a house from, in Las Vegas. Working with the client who inherited a home here in Las Vegas, and we were able to solve her solution. I'm going to walk you through kind of the options that we walked that client through, and ultimately how we helped this client sell their house that they inherited in Las Vegas. And then you record 5 to 7 minutes of it, upload that bad boy to YouTube, and then you can take it. And I'll show you an example of this right now. About you take that video and let me just do land in Roseburg. I think it's like anything like related around land or something like that. Let's see, land for sale. What was it? Oh, farmland. Yeah, that's right. They're a farm expert. So I'm going to take that video, upload it to YouTube. And now I need to get it from just YouTube or from just Facebook. I need to get it into an evergreen spot on my website so it can be there for years and people can find it for years. So this is an example here that I'm showing on my screen about this one, this real estate agent made in 2017. Okay. So that's almost 5 years from the time we're recording this video right here. Danny did not want to write content. He would not sit down and write content like most of us, but he would record a 3-minute and 23-second video on his cell phone in front of land. And I just said, Danny, just talk about it. Like talk about buying farmland in Roseburg just for a few minutes. And he did. They uploaded it to YouTube. It wasn't perfect. And then our system called Video Post, you automatically take that video, put it into our system. You just copy and paste the YouTube URL. It imports the video in. It sends it out for transcription automatically behind the scenes. A couple hours, it emails you and says, hey, Bo, your article is ready. And it looks like this. It's got your title from YouTube and you can edit it to make it something related to something that someone would search. It's got your video automatically in there to build that authority. And it's got the transcription of the video that you can log in and edit if you want to. But I suggest people just kind of keep it simple with a good call to action. He gets farmland leads in this every single month, 5 years later. You stack
Incredible.
one of those a week, dude. You stack one of those a week. That's how we get the momentum picking up.
That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, this is just like, people are always complaining, especially in real estate. You know, I've interacted with many real estate agents, and it's always like, you know, it's the 80-20 rule. There's that 20% that are like crushing it. And then there's the 80%. And they're like, hey, how do I do lead generation? Mm-hmm. And they sit at their desk doing nothing all day. It's so simple to just like take action. And like this, you know, this is just really, you shoot a video and you upload the URL, and it's going to pretty much do all the work. It's going to take the text and turn it into, or takes the verbal text and transcribe it into written text.
Yep.
And then you got to clean it up a bit. And then you have a blog post that's keyword rich and on your Authority Hub website. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but so it's like, it's almost like, why aren't more people doing this kind of stuff? I mean, it seems like they think it's so challenging and they're just not taking action with it.
Dude, they don't do it because, I'm going to show you this little graph I drew in my iPad. They don't do it because it's too tempting to do the hamster wheel stuff. Okay. And I'll kind of give you guys this little illustration. So if we were to kind of lay out that 12-month marketing plan as an investor, as an agent, you know, I don't care if you're a plumber. Like my parents, they own a rental equipment store and a party equipment store. And they moved their sites over to Carrot a few years ago. Now, we're not a rental equipment store website business or a party store website business, but their website that they had before didn't work very well. And my dad kept on coming to me and he's like, Trev, I need to get this ranking well for this stuff in our market. Can you do it? And I'm just like, the local web developers or your ones, you're going to make it look pretty, but it won't perform. And so that's the first thing, is people have websites that will not actually give them a chance to do it. They're working on a platform that is going to make it 10 times harder for them because it loads slowly, because it's clunky, because it's not the way that Google wants to see it. And so they're working it and they're just never going to get there because they're building on the wrong foundation. So when we moved his over to Carrot, now they're popping, ranking really well in Google. So this methodology works well for any business. But as far as we're showing this is why, Bo, that I've found out, reason number one that I found out that people don't do it. So we talked about that 2-6-1 formula, where that first 2 months, it's a lot of work. Okay. So it's either a lot of work or you've got to pay someone to do the work for you. It's getting that website launched. We make that 80% easier, but you still got to do customization on it, or pay, us to do the customization on it. You got to get your logo up there, swap out the photos, write that about page, get the reviews on there, update some of that content, create those location pages. That's stuff we can do for you, but someone's got to do it. There's a lot of building in that first 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks. Okay. And then also in that first 2 months, it's determining, well, shoot, do I have leads coming in right now? If you don't, we've got to get some sort of leads coming in the short term while that evergreen's picking up in the long term. And so in that first 2 months, we have to make that decision. Am I willing to wait for the evergreen to pick up over the next 6, 12, 18 months to where I'm going to be loving it in a year and a half, but I got to be patient in that first 6 months? Or can I pay some money now for Google ads or Facebook ads or direct mail, or go out there and hustle to get deals now, right? And then around month 6, that 261 formula is where, if you execute the plan right, that's where you first start to get kind of that little pop organically in Google. This here, Bo, is where most people quit, is around that month 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mark, because they've invested, they're doing some work. They might've done a lot of work, and they're sitting there looking at their site going, man, I'm doing everything you're teaching me to do. Like, why am I not getting any leads? I'm still ranking at the bottom of page 2 in Google. And that's just how it works. That's how it works. There's people every day trying to compete for the phrases that you're trying to compete against. And most of them give up before month 6. But around then, if you've been adding your location pages, right? So you got location pages, and you're doing, let's say it's even just one video post a month, just one 3 to 5 minute video a month. Okay. You're doing one video post a month. Now you've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20 new quality website pages or pages on your website. Google starts to look at it and go, man, this website's really good quality. It's an authority in that area. And the more pieces of content you add that is good quality, the more Google says, this is a good quality website. We're going to keep on showing it higher. And then you build some backlinks, which is, just other websites linking toward yours. And you don't have to have a lot in most markets, but most people don't do that. Right around here is where a ranking pops. You get on the bottom of page 1, and then you keep on doing the work, and then it pops again to middle of page 1. And then you keep doing the work, and then you're towards the top of page 1, depending on your market, around month 9 to month 18, depending on how hard you're working. So the reason people don't do it, man, is because right here in this period, right around here of month 2 through 6, I'm erasing stuff here, month 2 through 6, they give up and they go, oh my gosh, I know that this hamster wheel stuff worked. I'm going to go hop back on this hamster wheel like a mouse and work it because I know it worked. And the question I've got for people is, you're either going to work your butt off for the next 20 years on the hamster wheel and potentially not have much to show for it and have your business own you, or you can work your butt off for the next, 6 to 12 months and have evergreen leads coming in and then work less over time. So your workload, actually your results go up with evergreen marketing as you work it, but your workload goes down. And that's what people need to understand. The second reason, Bo, is because people get stuck on the content side of things. They go like, what do I do? And so if you're not an expert online, you don't have to be like, engage with an expert, engage with us. We have automation tools in our system that create the content for you, or go out there and shoot those short videos, the 3 to 5 minute video. The reason it's important to do the video content, this is what I would challenge anybody with. If you're like, I don't want to sit down and write blog posts, guys, don't do it. I haven't written a blog post in 5 years. Okay. All of my content starts with video first. Now I have people who take that and turn it into blog posts if I want it to be complicated. So record that video. The average person speaks 120 to 160 words a minute. If we're trying to build a page that Google wants to see that is, let's say 800 to 1,000 words or 500 to 1,000 words, a 3-minute video of you speaking the whole time, educating and teaching, is about a 500 word article when we yank all the words out and transcribe it. A 5-minute video is about an 800 to 1,000 word article when you transcribe it. And so if you do one of those things a week, and you can literally grab the ideas directly from Google, or we have a video marketing guide. I think it's just carrot.com/video. But you guys can go to carrot.com, go to our resources section, and then there's our free video marketing guide, where we give you, as an agent or an investor, 52 video marketing ideas based on our research. So one idea a week. Guys, there's no excuses. Just get out there and start doing it, and just consistently stack those bricks. And eventually you've got a wall that will actually hold your house up for you and make your job easier.
That's amazing. Yeah, it really comes down to being consistent and just stay in the course. And I think that's, we've been going for an hour. I know you're busy, and can we round this conversation off with with, because you've had a great successful journey, with some wins and losses as you were
Mm.
going, like most entrepreneurs. But I would definitely consider you, like, out of the people I personally know, one of the greatest minds in entrepreneurial space.
Thanks,
Um,
man.
and I always like listen to you and Daniel Ramsey. I put you guys are
Cool.
like,
Awesome, man.
you guys are like my kind of senseis. But how do you stack brick by brick? And that's the end of I mean, like, if you're going to give anybody advice out there, it's really staying the course and stacking bricks. I mean, there's no like rocket science. You can get the best tools, and here's a tool, for example, but at the end of the day, if you're not stacking the bricks, it's not going to work the way you want it to.
Yep.
And so what do you do to continue stacking bricks? Like, what keeps you motivated to stack those bricks?
That's a good question, man. I think for me, Bo, because I, just like any entrepreneur, I've wrestled with this stuff, over the years, and I can tell you honestly, when after my previous company before Carrot, I was debating even to start another company again, because I had this business that sucked the energy out of me, that sucked the life out of me. And I thought maybe that entrepreneurship dream isn't true. Maybe it's literally where you're grinding away all the time every day. And that is the entrepreneurship dream. And I'm like, I don't want that. And so when I started Carrot, the big thing that's helped drive me forward is I said, well, let me give it another go, but can I actually do it with intention this time? Can I do it where I'm building something specific, where money is not the goal, impact is the goal, money is a byproduct. And I think, Bo, when people get caught up in not stacking the bricks more, not doing that hard work to get momentum, it's because they don't love the craft. They're going for a goal. They're going for an outcome that they're shooting for this number. And they think, when I hit this number, I'm going to finally be happy. The clouds are going to part. The angels are going to be saying that their angels are going to sing, and I will finally be insert whatever you're going for. I'll finally be happy. I'll finally be fulfilled. I'll finally feel like a success. Guys, I can tell you, when I had the number, like, man, I'd love to hit $10,000 a month. And then it's like, well, maybe when I hit that, the world didn't change. Like, maybe it's like 100,000 a month. Hit 100,000 a month. World didn't change. Nothing changed except for, just a little bit more money and a little bit more busyness, because I didn't know how to grow my business. And then after that, you're like, I think I'm kind of getting this now, that anytime I set a revenue goal, that over and above, let's say that first 70 to 80 grand where my bills are taken care of, that's not going to make me happier. And then I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe $1 million a month will, though. Right. And so I hit the $1 million a month mark, and like, nothing changed. Literally, it was just a day, just like any other day, nothing changed. And so I think where people get discouraged is they see that number, that revenue number, that whatever it is, and that is their outcome. It's a moving target, y'all. As you hit that goal, it's going to move, because you're going to go, what about the next goal? Maybe that's better. And so I think for me, Bo, I had to actually start to enjoy the craft. I had to say, how do I make it to where I know that by hitting a new milestone revenue wise is not going to change my life, not going to make me happier. I know that now. It took me years to figure that out. But now I go, well, how do I just make my craft, my work enjoyable every day? And for that, I use what I call the energy audit, right? Is where I go, well, what if I could just make sure that more of my work gives me energy than my life and work drains my energy? And I created that exercise. You guys can get it for free, no opt-in. I just want everyone to use it. Change my life. Carrot.com/energy. Carrot.com/energy. Just get it. It's a worksheet. I use it every quarter. Use it proactively. If you ever get burnout, or if you're worn out, or if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not liking my work right now, do the energy audit. And I'll wrap it with this, is when you couple the fact of knowing that the goal you're going for, that revenue target, is not going to make you happier. It's just a measuring stick. It's for progress. It's for motivation, it's for motivation and inspiration, not for measuring my self-worth. Okay. And then number 2 is saying, how can I just enjoy the craft of my work, where I show up every day and the work is the reward. I'm not going after this number. The work I get to do today is my reward. I love doing it, like these calls. And then number 3, ask, well, what is it that actually gives me energy? So I feel rewarded when I'm working, and I just want to keep stacking bricks because I love it, because it gives me energy. Right. And so I think when people get burnt out, or when people stop, and we all do, I'll get there too, because I'll forget to do the energy audit, or I forgot to delegate these things or whatever. But when we fall into one of those spots, it's usually because we actually don't like our work. It's like, we don't want to do it. We're doing it because we're doing it to hit a revenue number, and that's not going to make you happy. So now change your work to stuff you like to do, take the energy audit, and then keep on using that measuring stick for revenue. But that's not why you do it. Your work is the reward, guys.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. I'm actually, the energy audit is what I need actually. So that was a huge nugget right there.
Cool.
Well, everybody, this was a action-packed conversation or I want to bring Trevor on because I know that I've gotten amazing results, and I know that I could even stack more bricks. Like I haven't even been stacking bricks and it's still got me an amazing results. So imagine if I actually stack bricks, what goals I could achieve that way. So if you're a real estate agent, investor, you should definitely check it out. I've been saying that for the last 6 or 7 years, however long I've been a member, that it is the best platform for getting online leads. And so if you want that, then you should check it out. Plus, you guys you have your CarrotCast podcast. You guys should definitely, because you interview entrepreneurs too. It's not just it's sometimes Carrot members and such. Is that like the best place for the people to go if they want to hear more from you? Obviously go to carrot.com, but
yeah, dude, the podcast is perfect. And one thing that I get the most feedback on with the podcast, like with our Carrot Camp event that we have here locally, almost every person comes here and goes, man, I love the truck talks. And the truck talks are literally, I record every Thursday as a podcast. Is from my cell phone as I'm driving to my house or from my house. And that's like the entrepreneurship stuff. That's behind the scenes, what's going on through my mind as an 8-figure entrepreneur. And I've been doing it for 5 years. So you guys can track going from 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, all through the challenges I'm going through on the truck talks. Then on Tuesdays, it's interviews with investors or agents. Yep,
last question. What's a book you've read recently that resonated with you the most?
Dude, probably the one that I gave this book out to a lot of people last year. The one that impacted me the most last year, and I read it in last fall, was a book that probably no one in this call has ever heard of, ever read, called Chasing Daylight. And Chasing Daylight is one of those funny things, Bo. I didn't order the book. I didn't know who ordered it. It showed up at my house one day. And I'm looking at it. It's got this weird cover. I'm like, I'm not going to read that. It doesn't look like a business book, or personal growth. And I look at the back, and it was written by the former CEO of KPMG, big, huge, multi-billion-dollar accounting firm. And he had been diagnosed with cancer, and just high performer, top of the industry guy. And he had, I think it was about 120 days to live. And the whole book is him talking through, as a high achiever, high performer his whole life, how he processed and how he went through the process of dying, which sounds morbid, but it's so many amazing mindset shifts and so many amazing things to get you to focus on how to create more perfect moments, more magical moments in life while we have them, and how to balance work better. So Chasing Daylight, man, I think everybody should read it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
And thanks everybody for watching. I hope you got a lot of value, because I know I did. And guys, really, if you're in the business, you should really look at doing online. I'm a advocate. YouTube, I did a national television show from being on YouTube. To this day, people call me from my motivated seller websites and my YouTube channel. So I know that these leads are the real deal, and I love it. And I know I need to stack more bricks and double down on this. So thank you so much, Trevor. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for the invite.
All right.